welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now let's talk what's happening here in Indonesia. Indonesia Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysical Agency, or BMKG, has issued an explanation for the recent extreme heat gripping multiple regions. These statements cited several factors, including sunny weather and fewer number of clouds.
Yes, it also said that the heat will also be more pronounced when the sun meets the equator. The situation is predicted to last during the transition from the rainy to dry season, which is until October. The agency is urging the public to curb outdoor activities during the period.
So speaking about the hot weather here especially here in Southeast Asian region, Indonesia is not the only Southeast Asian country to experience extreme heat in recent days, with several countries in the region already taking up steps against heat waves.
Yes, and a lot of people actually wonder whether what's happening in Indonesia right now, which is Jakarta or Indonesia, feels really hot or hotter than usual, or is this also a heat wave that is happening in the country as well? Now, to explain the phenomenon, joining us this morning is Dr. Ardhasena Sopaheluwakan, the director of the Center for Applied Climate Services at Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics Agency, BMKG. Good morning, Mas Sena.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. So what is happening in Indonesia at the moment? Because for the past week at least, I don't know whether this is real or not, it's so hot.
Yes. In fact, at the moment we are naturally in the transition period between going through from the rainy season to the dry season, where in Indonesia we call it as pancaroba. Usually we felt a little bit discomfort, but also in the fact during March to April period, the temperature is indeed naturally increasing a little bit higher than other months of the year. So this is actually a kind of natural phenomenon that we actually already experienced from the past. But that is of course different than the heat waves that are occurring in other countries throughout the South Asia region, subcontinental South Asia, Indochina, and also Southeast Asia part.
But I don't know whether this is real or it's just my feelings, Mas Sena. I feel that this year just feels a lot hotter than last year. So what causes it?
Yeah, perhaps that the feeling of discomfort may also happen for people that are active in the urban area, city area. So the added heat may be exaggerated or also built up due to the environment that we are living in an urban area. That aspect also contributes to the comfort that we are feeling daily.
Okay, so that makes sense. We're living in a big city, so with a lot of people and lots of activities, and probably we feel more warmer than the people who lives in the countryside, probably.
That's right, in the rural area.
Yeah, the rural area. But as you mentioned, it's not a heat wave.
Yes.
But the temperature is higher than before, but it's still recorded as a normal transition.
Yes.
All right, so based on the graphic, we can see that heat levels in some Asian countries have soared. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is the proof that some of the countries, not Indonesia, but Vietnam, reach 42.4 degree, Nepal, Bangladesh, oh my God, Bangladesh 42.8. Even our neighboring country, Thailand, 44. Indonesia is quite
okay.
low, 33. But why we feel like it's super hot?
Maybe it's also because it's superimposed with high humidity that we feel a little bit discomfort. If you see, for instance, these last three countries, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, are all archipelagic countries.
Oh, okay.
It's more humid, but compared to other areas, which are more
dry.
More dry, and also it's a typical area where we have huge land masses. Then this heat builds up So, and you see this soaring temperature can rise up even up to 50 degrees.
Is it possible the temperatures will be going higher in Indonesia, or we are expecting to be lower?
Especially since we're going to have this till October, Marcela.
Yeah, it will gradually decrease, but we have to remember that we are living in a tropical area.
Oh yeah.
So we are used to living in this temperature region between 25 in the morning and up to 33, 34 maybe late afternoon. And but yeah, recently we reached 36, 37. So that is sort of the temperature range that we have to adapt daily.
Right. So what would be categorized as, like for example, out of all of these ASEAN countries in Asia, Indonesia is actually not categorized as experiencing heat waves. So
Yes.
what does that mean? I mean, what is heat wave? I mean,
Heat waves, you see those countries which are experiencing heat waves, the South Asia region, the subcontinent of India, Indochina region, China, and parts of Southeast Asia like Thailand and Laos and Myanmar are all areas which has huge land masses. And we are different, we are archipelagic. And in those areas and during this time of the year, the heat can build up.
I see.
And as we see, because of that anomalous weather, they are experiencing these heat waves.
I see.
And that is typically what is different than the naturally tropical weather that we are experiencing daily.
Is there anything that we can do naturally to, to be more comfortable, or probably to reduce the heat? Could we just plant a tree inside the house? Suddenly, just
Crank up
need
the
more
air
plants,
conditioner.
or can cooler the weather, or something like that.
Yes, maybe both aspects from a personal side, but also perhaps from a city planning side. We can make several adaptations. Personally, we can wear comfortable clothes like batik or white shirts, etc. But also from a perspective of living condition or city planning, we can of course design our way of life a little bit more smarter with more greeneries, for instance, around the area. Because the way we live, for instance, in Jakarta, we don't see much greenery.
Exactly.
Everywhere is concrete.
Yes.
And those concrete actually traps the heat. And so we are worsening the
because
condition
that's
itself.
why.
Yeah.
And since the weather is higher,
Yes.
people turn the AC
Yes.
all the time. It
That's
just
true.
makes it worse.
Yes. We call it as the law of thermodynamics. We cool inside of the building, but we warm the outside. Yes.
Amazing.
Thermodynamics.
Yes.
Oh, thermodynamics.
Oh, wow.
Right, and we also have this particular graphic here. There have been alerts for extreme UV radiations
Oh,
as
yes.
well. So what does
Yes.
that mean? What is that, UV radiations?
Yeah, it became quite viral the last days, and it is quite a little bit misconcepted, because if you remember during the times of COVID pandemic, we actually wanted this UV radiation also as a part of the solar radiation to increase our immunity.
Yes.
So the level of UV exposure that we are seeing lately in the social media as well as the news is actually in the range where it is naturally occurring all over the tropical area. And I think that is something that we have to take benefit as well.
So this is actually nothing sensational at all. It's just
No.
normal.
It's just normal, but
Okay.
of course we have to also adjust to this kind of radiation of UV. It is not advisable that people are active outdoors without protection, for instance, and
You mean like sunscreen?
Yes, be directly exposed to the radiation maybe more than 1 or 2 hours.
Oh, okay. So this is the protection measures, probably with the UV index 8 to 10.
Yes.
Very high. How do we know that the UV index is high, or we have to avoid it? When we know
Yes.
naturally.
Yes, we can. The communities can look at the information to the website of BMKG.
Yeah.
At the moment, we are also collaborating with the government of Jakarta. You can access this directly through your handheld from Jak Sehat application, for instance, where we can have those information at the time that we look at the application and also the prediction or the forecast. Yeah.
Ah, that's
Okay.
fantastic. Do you have that app?
Yes, I have that app.
Great.
Sometimes we don't aware to check the weather of today,
Yes.
the UV index,
Yeah.
and the suggestion to put more sunscreen and sunglasses. You know, we tend to just go out using the short sleeves without any sunscreen or protection.
That's actually me. I'm so bad. But that's the thing about living in the tropics, though, right?
have a negative impacts. In the
Yes,
futures.
but now we are aware because the great thing about living in the tropics as well is that we only have 2 seasons, right,
Yes.
Ardhasena? I mean, it's like we're not like the English, for example, or the Europeans who would actually, the first thing they do, they would just
Yeah.
look at their app and say,
Yeah.
okay, is it going to be raining today? Is it going to be snowing?
Yeah.
But now, I guess, especially with the situation, we do need to take care of
Yeah.
ourselves better.
Yeah.
I do need to be a little bit more disciplined with my
Yeah.
sunscreen. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Because it's very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
You are the authority, so probably you can tell to our audience what is the dangers or probably the effect if someone's get exposed too much to suns with a
Yes.
high UV index.
Yes, as I mentioned before, there is 2 sides of the benefit and also the disadvantage of this overexposed to sun radiation and UV. If we are exposed too much of the UV, we may get sunburn.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Our skin will get darker. Some studies also say that we might get a risk of cancer, for
Yeah.
instance.
Yes.
So it is very well advisable that we use proper protection, like umbrella or hats or
yeah.
even sunscreen.
Yeah.
To mitigate this risk. But from time to time, we have to also take benefit from the
Yes.
radiation that are abundant around us.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, to increase our immune system, yes.
Exactly.
Because I remember my son, I was correct when it was during the pandemic and it was the worst
Looking for
period.
the sun.
Yeah, we were just like, hello, sun,
Sunbathing.
please. It's good, vitamin D.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, just reduce your exposure. Probably if you want to be in the sun, get the vitamin D. Be exposed for 15 minutes and then go back in.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have any other advice, Marcena, around this current phenomenon at the moment that people should do in order to protect themselves?
Yes, be well prepared in facing weather. We will soon transition to the dry period where we might get less water resources, for instance. So yeah, that is sort of the situation that actually are occurring naturally in Indonesia from year to year. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So please stay hydrated, people.
Yes, stay
Drink
hydrated,
a lot of waters, and just be careful about the situation and the weather as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Marcena, for
Thank you,
your insights.
Mas. Thank you so much for the insights. Now we know what to do. Put the sunscreen, sunglasses if you need it. Wear a very comfortable clothes that you have, probably with the right materials. All right, guys, we're up for another short break. In the meantime, don't forget to check our social media accounts if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at C Today News Station. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.